welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm going to attempt to do just that and solve today's Times Cryptic crossword. This puzzle here, which happens to be by a friend of mine, Jason Crampton, who is a friend with probably the best job in the world. Actually, I think I have the best job in the world, but his job is very nearly as good as mine. He is none other than the Times Crossword Editor. So gets to do an awful lot of these wonderful puzzles just as part of daily life. Now, I haven't checked the snitch today, so let's have a quick look at the difficulty of the puzzle. Okay, so we can immediately disregard almost all of the initial solvers here. These are typists. Verlaine is the first name that I'm confident is not a typist. Matthew Marcus, former Times Crossword champion, 6 minutes 20. I would guess that probably is slightly slower than Matthew's average time. Andrew Fisher, nearly 7 minutes. Jason James in at nearly 8 minutes. This is definitely not easy. Okay, we can conclude that immediately. Let's go a bit further down. Just see. Dean's a very good solver, so 14 minutes 50. Tom Stubbs is a very good solver. Mystigris, very good solver. Yeah, so there's lots of evidence to suggest this is not a straightforward puzzle. I'm not surprised, actually. I find Jason's puzzles remarkably difficult, and it's ironic. You sort of get to the end of it and you go, well, the only reason that was difficult is it's entirely my own fault. It's not because of obscure vocabulary normally. It's just simply you've been outwitted. And then you look at the clues and you go, well, why? Why was I outwitted? And yet you were. It is a mysterious, magical property that exists in Jason's puzzles. Now, oh, goodness, there's actually an explosion outside. Yeah, that's probably from my garden. That's not good, is it? Anyway, look, let me just check I've got the dictionary. Oh, I have got. Look at that. The dictionary is in the perfect place. I don't understand why that could be the case, but it is. So that's good. That's good. And now, what else? I have, two things to mention. I have one birthday to do, so I wish Ben a very happy birthday today from your partner, Ollie. I think, Ben, it's your birthday on Monday, isn't it? But I think Ollie wanted to be early rather than late. So happy birthday for Monday. I hope you enjoy this video. And I hope that your birthday is filled with an enormous chocolate cake, very heavily iced, of course. And also, just to mention, over on Patreon at the moment, we have Mark's solve of the final puzzle from the American Crossword Puzzle Championship, which happened in Stamford a couple of weekends ago. Lots of our patrons have already watched that video and commented and have really enjoyed it. So you might well enjoy that. It's not. I mean, the final puzzle actually of the ACPT. It's not cryptic because it's an American-style crossword, but it certainly has cryptic elements. The clues are not as straightforward as one might expect in sort of a New York Times-style puzzle. But anyway, definitely worth a look, in my opinion. And with that said and done, let us get cracking. That's the right puzzle, isn't it? We might have a go at the quick cryptic afterwards, depending on how mentally destroyed I am. So let's go. One across. Characteristic of radioactive decay found in lithium and iron. Well, I can do this, I think, which is very surprising. So let's just do. If you're completely new to cryptic crosswords, you might not know some very important principles. So let me just run through one thing that's very important. Every single one of these clues has a straightforward definition, a straightforward in inverted commas, definition of the answer. So this clue's a bit complicated, but if we I'm just trying to look at another clue. Look at this clue. 9 letters, pay off overdue £1 charges. So there will be a straightforward definition of this 9-letter word in this string of words. So, and it's normally at the start or the end, so it might be pay, it might be pay off. It's unlikely to be pay off overdue because there aren't words that mean pay off overdue or pay off overdue £1, but it could be the other side of the clue. So it could be charges, So it's probably either payoff or charges for this one. And therefore, if you're good at quick crosswords, you should be able to be good at cryptic crosswords, because it's just a case of learning how the language works. So having told you that there's always a quick crossword definition in all these clues, you may say, well, what's the rest of the clue? Why do we need that? That's always wordplay that indicates, think about that as sort of atoms building up a molecule. So the constructor might give you a whole load of, little bits of the answer, and then tell you how to put them together to create the overall answer. So let's think about this with those principles in mind. 4.4, characteristic of radioactive decay. Well, if those of us, I did do chemistry and physics, and I think this sort of has, you may be able to guess what the answer to this is from that, if you think that's the definition. But we see here two chemical elements, lithium and iron. If you see chemical elements in a cryptic crossword clue, it is very often the case that you'll need to use their abbreviations from the periodic table. Now, lithium is Li and iron is Fe. So life looks interesting, doesn't it? Now, a characteristic of radioactive decay is half-life. That's what I think the answer is. But why? Found in lithium and iron. I mean, okay, so obviously the Li and the Fe are giving us life, which I presume is going to go here. I'm just trying to understand why it's half-life. There isn't. It's not like full life or anything. It's that there isn't that. That is not a characteristic of radioactive decay. Found in lithium. And iron. I don't know. I think it's half-life. Should we try one down with that in mind, and then I'll think harder about why it is. Expect much fancied favourite to lose every time. Okay, this is quite a lot harder, but I have got it with the help of thinking it might begin with H. Okay, so let's apply our principles. What do you think the definition is in this clue? Do you think it's expect much fancied? Probably not, neither of those. Or is it time, every time, lose every time? Now, the hint here is if you see bits of a clue that are instructions to do things, that's very often going to be wordplay. So this phrase, to lose every time, we've got to be aware. Now, Ben, this is dedicated to you. Lots of abbreviations are used in cryptic crossword land. Those abbreviations have to be supported by the dictionary. Now, the word time here can be abbreviated to T, and that is because if we go to T in the dictionary, V equals U plus AT, that's one of Newton's laws or equations of motion, isn't it? But if we click through the T's, we will hopefully, we will find it. There it is, time. So that is why time in a cryptic crossword clue could be T. Now every, if we looked under E in the dictionary, it doesn't have every listed. So every cannot be E. It must be supported by the dictionary. So this phrase, to lose every time, what might that mean if we're thinking about it cryptically? It might mean to lose every instance of T in a phrase, the letter T. Now, much fancied favourite. Can you think of any short synonyms that might mean either of those things, or both. Much fancied. If you're much fancied, this is not an adjective that has ever been applied to me, but if you are much fancied, like as a human being, if you're very good looking, you might be described as hot. And if you're the favourite in a classroom, you might be described as the teacher's pet. So hot pet. Remove every instance of T from those and you get hope. And if you expect something, you hope for it, don't you? So hope is the answer there. I'm going to put Half-Life in. But I am aware I have not understood it. We're about to get visited not just by an explosion, but by a low-flying aeroplane. I can't do anything about it, I'm afraid. It is not a jet aeroplane. It is just Maverick flying over the house, as he does the moment I start any video. Characteristic of radioactive decay. So, found in lithium and iron. There's something clever going on there and I can't see what it is and it's infuriating. Anyway, let's try 2 down. My choice of central elements in building. Okay. That's another brilliant clue, actually. I really liked the expect much fancied favourite to lose every time. Let's just go back to that clue and admire it as a sentence. It is beautifully worded. Because it doesn't read like a cryptic clue. And that is such a skill. I tell you, if you ever try writing a cryptic crossword and writing a series of clues, and then go back and read the clues you've written and think, could that sentence I've written there have appeared in any other context but in a cryptic crossword? And the answer will almost definitely be no. Whereas Jason's clue here, expect much fancied favourite to lose every time, it's just beautiful. My choice of central elements in building. I mean, this is clever. This is really clever. So what do we think the definition is? Is it my choice? Or is it building? Sometimes it helps, if you're new to these puzzles, to try and think of them like equations. So, the constructor might be saying x plus y equals z, or z equals x minus y, or something like that. And if you think about them that way, the word in quite often does the duty of an equal sign. So if you thought that the definition here, this is a 4-letter word for a building, that's a good thought to have. That's not a bad thought. It's wrong, but it's not the right way to think of the puzzle. In this case, believe it or not, the definition of this 4-letter answer is the word my. Now see if you can get it. If you've got it, really well done. Really well done. Especially if you're new to these puzzles. If you've got this and you're new to the puzzles, that is exceptional. Right, so let's read the wordplay. Choice of central elements in building. Now, if we're thinking cryptically, what could the central elements in building mean? And what we need to realise is we have to take the central letters of the word building, which are L and D. And if you have a choice of those, how could you express that choice? L or D. Now that L or D, if we write it, spells out Lord. And you may say, well, that's fine, Simon, but my doesn't mean Lord. It does. It is in an interjection. If you said my, you'd be like, my goodness, my word. And if you said Lord, you'd mean the same thing, wouldn't it? So Lord and my are synonymous, especially in cryptic crossword land, and that is what's going on there. It's another brilliancy, isn't it? So let's have a look at 3 down. Payoff overdue £1 charges. I haven't got this one. I mean, okay. I have some ideas as to how it might work. Actually, I think I have got it, actually. It's another superb clue. I mean, this is a ridiculous... The first three down clues are ridiculous quality. Okay, so again, try and work out in your mind. Make a decision, because this is how you will get better. What do you think the definition is? This is a 9-letter word. Is it pay? Is it payoff? Or is it charges? It's not easy. It's payoff here. This is a 9-letter word that means payoff. How did I get that? Actually, I wasn't sure for a while, but overdue, I can think of a short synonym that means overdue beginning with L. If you're overdue, you're late, aren't you? So late must play a part in this answer somewhere. What could £1 charges mean? And this is brilliant. This is brilliant by Jason. £1 charges, it sounds like a sort of a fee to go over the Dartford crossing or something. Not that that's probably about £5 now, but like it used to be £1 back in the day. £1 charge, it sounds like a fee of £1, doesn't it? But charges has a different meaning. If you charge your glass, what do? You fill it. So I think what's happening here is that we need to take the word for overdue, late, and we need to fill that word late with a 5-letter expression that means the same as £1. And I think what that is, a pound colloquially might be referred to as a quid. And if we put 1 quid in late, we can create liquidate. And if you liquidate a shareholding or something, it pays off, doesn't it? You turn it into money. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Pay off overdue £1 charges. That is 3 of the best clues you will ever see in cryptic crosswords in a row. And what on earth is that? Hang on, I don't know. Para something? Water, to some extent, absorbs toxic compound. This is a bit worrying because I'm not actually thinking of a word. I mean, that must be a U. Let's put the U in. Water, to some extent, absorbs toxic compound. Okay, so again, we should play the same game. This time, you're going to be ahead of me because I don't know what the definition here is. Is it water? Or is it compound? Or is it... I mean, the word absorbs here seems very, I think, clearly to be indicating that we need to put something into something else. It needs to be absorbed into it. So water, to some extent, feels maybe that's most of a word for water. Although looking at this, it's really not easy. And that's going to absorb a word that means toxic. What? I'm now worried I've got something wrong here. And the whole thing means compound? This is really annoying. I mean, I know everyone's shouting at me. I'm well aware of it. My brain is shouting at me. There's a weird thing when you record these videos where you've got one part of your brain which is trying to solve the clues. You've got one part of your brain which is trying to speak that process. And you've got the awful part of your brain that is shouting at you, saying you're a fool. And that part is so loud. I don't know what this is. That's absolutely abject. 4 down. Study following nomadic Africans engages British polymath. I haven't got it yet, but I think I haven't quite got it. No, I haven't got it at all, actually. Okay, let's talk about this clue because it's interesting. It's the structure of it is interesting. Study following nomadic Africans. Let's stop there. What could that mean? Do we think any of that is the definition? I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is, again, we're being told to do something there with the word following. Study, I think, means think of a short word that means study. And that word needs to follow nomadic Africans. Now, that might terrify you if you're thinking, oh my goodness, I need to know the name of some African tribe that is famously nomadic, and I don't know that. If I had to think of a nomadic African tribe, I would also worry about it. But nomadic means roaming, doesn't it? And words that mean roaming or mixing or stirring or exploding, anything like that in a cryptic crossword can very often indicate an anagram. So I think this is an anagram of Africans, and then after that we're going to have a word that means study. And that whole thing engages British polymath. What might that mean? Well, you probably aren't going to be surprised to hear that if we were to look at B in the dictionary, we will find British. B. So I think we're going to have to put a B inside our anagram of Africans and our study. Now, Africans is 8, 9. We're looking for 12. So the 3-letter word that for study we're going to need a 3-letter word for study. There are 2 I can think of that come up fairly often. A study might be your den, D-E-N. If you study something, you also con it. Now, con is one of these extraordinary words which has about 1,000 meanings. When you look at this, 6 meanings. Now, one of the meanings of con is to study here. It's actually archaic, but it comes up all the time in cryptic crosswords. So it could be C-O-N at the end, it could be D-E-N at the end, D-E-N at the end, and it's got a B in it somewhere, and it's got an anagram of Africans, and it means polymath. So all we have to do now is work out what the answer is. And the answer is... Oh, come on, Simon. I mean, this can't be difficult now. What do we think the study is? Do we think it's con or do we think it's den? I think it's more likely to be den, but I can only think of Biden as the end. I'm pretty sure the polymath is not somebody Biden. Oh dear, oh dear. What is it? If it was con at the end. Bacon, Francis Bacon. Goodness me, that's appalling. That's taken me far too long. But anyway, we got it. Francis Bacon, famously very clever. Good at lots of things. Probably would know the answer to 9 across very quickly. Water to some extent. I mean, water, aqua is water. But would aqua shouldn't be inside. Toxic compound. Qua has some Latin meaning. Oh goodness, I hope it's not that. Jason, if you've put Latin into your puzzle, that would be very annoying. water. Oh, goodness. Toxic compound. So toxic. I'm trying to think. Oh. Okay, maybe. Okay, I thought of a different way of doing this. Okay, wow. I don't know the word, which is not helping me here, but I've thought of a different way of thinking about the clue. Aqua is water, isn't it? So, could we read this grammatically as water, aqua, and then if there was a word which means to some extent, that could absorb our word for water, and the grammar would be correct. Water, which, to some extent, a word for to some extent, absorbs. Now, to some extent, could that be part? And that would give paraquat. Paraquat. It's quite a funny word. It's got a Q, so I should actually have been on the lookout for pangrams the moment we got liquidate. Paraquat. Paraquat? Paraquat. I like that. I think that's probably right. To some extent. Yeah, let's look it up. I won't change it. If I've got it wrong, I've got it wrong. What's that word actually? Paraquadrate means the squamosal. What's that? The paired membrane bone of the vertebrate skull. The squamous portion of the temporal bone. Good grief. Hang on. Paraquat, a weed killer, very poisonous to human beings. Wow, okay. From para and the quaternary part of its formula. Paraquat. Goodness, okay, so I just didn't know that word. But this is one of the great things about cryptic crosswords, is that even if you don't know the word, you have a second chance if you can do the wordplay. Now, the wordplay there is monstrously hard, but luckily we had enough checking letters that we could find our way through. So let's look at 12 across. Understand the difference record margin had in cuts. Understand the difference record margin had in cuts. Okay, I'm not sure what this is, but if I was betting, again, let's try and work out what we think the definition is. Is it understand? Is it understand the difference? Is it cuts? And the only thing I'm thinking here is I can think of a short synonym for record. Now, record is interesting because it comes up a lot in cryptic crosswords, and it might be referring to an album. I guess albums now. I mean, this is almost an old abbreviation, but EPs, extended play records, and LPs, long play records, have long been staple fare of the cryptic crossword. So record could be LP or EP, but a record could also be a disc, couldn't it? And that's a really nice way to start a word. So understand the difference. If you understand the difference, you can discriminate. That's got to be right. Rim. It's something like it's discriminate, I think. I'm not quite sure why yet. Record, disc, margin, rim. Had in cuts. That's just sick. Okay. It's actually really instructive. Can you generate INATE from had in cuts? It's not easy to do, but it's beautiful. If you had food, you ate it. And then the word in cuts. So the way we have to read this grammatically is record margin had disc rim ate. In, the word in cuts that string of words. And that gives us discriminate. It's beautiful again. This is such... I mean, the last few weeks of Friday puzzles have been ludicrous. Look, we've got an I in 6 down. Oh, Sinai, I presume. Part of Egypt in Asia, not entirely developed. Yes, okay. So, I mean, we're very fortunate. We've got an I here. The clue starts part of Egypt. So Sinai pops into your brain. Why is the only question we then have to answer. Well, let's understand it. In Asia, not entirely. What could that mean? If we're thinking about things laterally, what it's saying is look at the word Asia and take most of it, because it's not entirely the word Asia, it's most of it. And whenever we do that, it will always be the last letter that you cut off. It won't ever be take off the first letter or the second letter or the third letter. It could be, because it's saying take not entirely the whole word, but by convention it'll always be the last letter that comes off. So we've got in for the word in, we've got most of the word Asia, ASI, and then we're going to develop those letters. Now what might that mean? Anagram. And that's going to give us, that explains why the answer is Sinai. Now let's try 5 across. Have a go at wife leaving festive occasion. Have a go at. Yes, okay. Okay, I have got this one. So, again, try and decide what you think the definition is. Have a go at wife leaving festive occasion. Now, the crucial thing here is this phrase wife leaving. Wife, you won't be surprised to hear, if we look up W in the dictionary, we'll find wife. We should find wife anyway. Let's check. Wife. There we go. So wife can be W. So wife leaving, what does that mean? It means take a W out of something. So there are two possible constructions that work grammatically. It could be have a go at, so think of a 7-letter word for have a go at, and chop wife out of that, wife leaving. Or, perhaps more naturally, it would be wife leaving a word for a festive occasion, 7-letter festive occasion. Now we've got sirens going off, and it's a 6-letter word which means have a go at. Now if you have a go at somebody, you assail them. And wassail is a festive occasion. It's sort of revelry, isn't it? Let's have a look. It literally says a festive occasion. Revelry, a drinking bout. There we go. So wassail drops its W and we get assail, which is the answer. Now let's try 10 across. Inane urban type lacking in consideration. Inane urban type lacking in consideration. I haven't got this one yet. I'll tell you how I'm thinking about it, and you can tell me whether I'm an idiot or not. The phrase lacking in is interesting to me anyway. These are the sorts of things I get to talk about at parties, and that's why I'm often on my own. Lacking in, I think that might mean take the word in out of something. So immediately I look at inane there. If I take in out of inane, I get A-N-E. Maybe that's the start of the answer. And the whole thing means consideration. But I don't know any words that begin A-N-E that mean consideration. And then you think urban type. What's that mean? That might be a townie. An urban type is sort of a city dweller. I don't know. It might be, as another possibility, it might be we have to think of a long word for an urban type. And then we take a word that means consideration out of that, lacking in a word that means consideration, and the whole thing means inane. Inane is sort of idiotic, asinine. Inane. Don't know that one. Shall we try? Let's try. We've got some starting letters. Criticise an author's publicity material. Criticise an author's publicity material. I don't know. Publicity material immediately makes you think advert, which can be shortened to ad. Criticise an author. What's the word "an" doing in this clue? That's ringing bells, isn't it? Because this clue could read criticise author's publicity material. It would mean the same thing as criticise an author's publicity material. So that "an" is probably important for the wordplay. It might be necessary for an anagram, although I can't see how to get 10 letters. Or it might mean literally it's that word. So criticise. Criticise. Oh, can't do it. Okay, don't know. Let's try 8 down. Ideal ground secures backing for facilities. Yeah, this is very good. Ideal ground secures backing for facilities. Again, it's just so well worded. If you haven't got this yet, and you don't really know how it's going to work, you're just going to go, "Oh, that's very clever" when I explain it, because it is very clever. So, because of course it conjures up an image, doesn't it, of a sort of football stadium that's got the right facilities, and it gets the backing for more funding. Nothing to do with that. Let's start off with the first 2 words. Ideal ground. Could we think about that cryptically? Now this does come up occasionally from time to time, this word ground. It's so lovely, because ground could mean a stadium. But ground is the past tense of grind, isn't it? If you ground out a result, you would understand exactly what that means. If you grind something, what might you be doing in a cryptic crossword world? Oh, there's a sound of a lawnmower now. I'm getting assailed by all of these noises. If you grind the letters ideal, you might anagram them. And that will give you the chance to create the answer. Secures backing. Again, it's just beautiful. Because what we need to do is think of a word that means secures, and we're going to reverse it. And if you secure a ship, you moor it. In the plural, moors, reverse moors, we get srum, ladies' room. That's the facilities. It's just superb, isn't it? Now look, actually, the exciting letters we've got here are an A at the end of that one and an O at the end of that one, which let's try this one. Where Roman contests were seen some time back. I mean, I know what I want that to be. Yeah, I think... Well, can you think of work out what you think the answer is? And again, this word back is helpful here, because it's an instruction to move something around. Anything that seems to be an instruction to move something around is very likely to be wordplay. So, where Roman contests were seen, I think, is an arena. And some time would be an era of time, ERA, and that goes backwards and we create arena. So that's not too difficult, but look, we've converted our beautiful checking letter, a final A, into 2 horrendous checking letters. God, there's another explosion. A and E there. Let's try the one ending in O. Ancient ship on lake moving slowly. Lovely, conjures a lovely image. What's the answer? I'll give you a clue. I'm going to go to the word, the letter L. Oh, no, sorry about these explosions. This is really quite disconcerting for me as well as you. Lake is there. So lake in the clue could be L. Ancient ship. Well, if you're familiar with your Greek myths, you may have heard of Jason and the Argonauts. Now, Argonauts there means the sailors that travelled on the ship, the Argo. So, L plus Argo, the name of the ship, gives Largo, and a slow movement in music would be a Largo movement. Let's look. There we go. Isn't it lovely? So that's correct. Now let's try this one. Celebrity to change course half-heartedly and begin again. Okay, well, is it? I'm thinking it's start over. That certainly fits and means to begin again. So let's put that in. My E key at the moment, by the way, is sort of double tapping. I press E once and I get a whole string of E's out of it. It's very annoying. Oh, advert would go in there. Publicity material. Criticise. An author's publicity material. I don't know, that's really strange. Okay, why is this start over? Celebrity. A celebrity is a star. To might just be the word to in the answer. Change course. Oh, if you change course, you veer, don't you? V-E-E-R, and that's half-heartedly. So it's saying rather than having the both E's in the middle, get rid of one of the E's. That gives us V-E-R. Star to the is the how the wordplay breaks down. Now this is now getting terrifying because I don't know what 7 down is, and I have got a D in 10 across. Inane, urban type. Lacking in consideration. Unkind? Why? Inane. I'm just going to put it in and think about it. Inane urban type. I mean, a type is a kind of something. Why is inane urban? Oh, that's vicious. Right. Okay, I think this is right. I've never seen this, I don't think, before. Inane. If you're inane, you're vacuous, aren't you? You're sort of empty. So I think it's literally it's saying empty out the word urban. That would give us UN. And then type for kind, unkind, lacking in consideration. Now what's this then? Criticise. It's not there isn't a word, is there? Animadvert. I don't know, but it rings the vaguest of bells with me, and I could justify that, because Anne in the clue could be Anne, author apostrophe S. Well, that could be Jason referring to himself. I'm. And then a publicity material, advert. So if there was a word animadvert, anima's a word, it's like spirit. But this would all have to mean criticise. Animadvert. I honestly don't think I'm going to come up with anything better than that. Let's risk it. Let's risk it. I think I've heard of it. Maybe. Anima. That's what I knew that was there. Animadvert. To comment critically on, to take cognizance. I mean, It's such a difficult word, but I suppose fairly clued in the sense that the clue, well, although, and thank goodness I had all the checking letters, because otherwise I would not have been sure. Look, 17 down. Remarkable. Okay, I'm immediately thinking of a word that means remarkable. Stable state that is difficult to achieve. Yeah, I think I know what this is. If somebody told you a remarkable story, how might you describe it? You might describe it as a tall tale, wouldn't it? So tall, I think, means remarkable. A stable state? If you're in a stable state, you're in a state of order. And a tall order is something that's difficult to achieve. I mean, that feels right. I'm sorry about the noise outside my window. I did not realise that was going to be quite so dramatic. Hopefully it's just a low rumble to you, but it's really quite loud for me. Let's have a look. See, look at all these horrible checking letters. They're all vowels or very common letters. Let's try 11 down. Staff in broadcast said to welcome argument. Oh, I think I've got it. I'm not sure I've got it, but I've got an idea as to what it might be. Staff in broadcast said to welcome argument. So again, try and make up your mind. Do you think this is a word that means staff, or does it mean argument? It's not easy to know, actually, without a bit of experience, because staff in could be saying, think of a word for staff. And there are some really good words. If you staff something, you man it, M-A-N, don't you? You provide the people who are going to do the job. So staff in broadcast might mean put a word for staff into something. But look at the other side of the clue. To welcome argument. Well, if you had one word and it welcomed another word, it might take it in, it might host it, mightn't it? So it isn't easy to know. The way I thought about it, though, was the word, or the phrase, broadcast said. Now, broadcast is to disseminate. It's to sow, it's to scatter. So that, I think, might be an anagram indicator. So I think we've got to anagram said somehow here. So now that looks to me like it's going to give me the opportunity to start this dis. And then I thought disagreement might work. That's my E going down loads of times. Greet is there, isn't it? To welcome is to greet. Yes, okay. So this is right. So it is a word that means argument, is a disagreement. The way the wordplay works, the staff are your men, M-E-N. And the men are inside, broadcast said, anagram of said, and a word for to welcome, which is greet. So our men go inside greet, and that gives disagreement, which is the answer. So not easy to understand, but we have understood it. Right, what about this one then? Ruin dreadful couple's adopted son. Again, it's just, it conjures up all sorts of stories that ruin dreadful couples. I know what I want this to be. I think I have got it, actually. Yeah, okay. So, are there any words in this clue? This might be a way to improve your cryptic solving. Are there any words in this clue that you think either could be abbreviations or are definitely abbreviatable? And the crucial one here is the word son. If you ever see son or daughter, S and D are valid abbreviations. Let's look. I don't know where this... I think this must be family trees or something. Maybe S is on a family tree, means son. I don't know. There. So, once you have that thought, the great thing about that is that suggests the other side of the clue is going to be the definition. So we're looking for a 9-letter word which means ruin. And now Maverick's flying over again. This is bizarre. I'm so sorry about all the noise. Okay, so can we think of any short synonyms for dreadful couple? What about just a short synonym for dreadful? Now the short synonym we might think of is, if something is dreadful, it's dire, D-I-R-E, into which we could pop that S look. And a couple is a pair, and that gives disrepair, and if you're in a state of ruin, you're in a state of disrepair. So that's going to be correct. Right, let's try 13 down. Revolutionary movement. It's gone quiet. This is this is absolutely charming. Now 13 down. Revolutionary movement. That's just going to be bird noise. Revolutionary movement transfers power round. Revolutionary movement transfers power round. I haven't got this one. I don't know. There are all sorts of things that could work here. Revolutionary. It could be the name of a revolutionary from history. More likely, I think, it's the name of a revolutionary movement, like I was going to say cartwheel, and then my brain tried to say handstand. That was weird. A handstand is not a revolutionary movement. Transfers. Oh, well, that's really weird. Some part of my brain knew the answer to this, because the answer, I think, is handspring. Because now it occurs to me that transfers could be hands. Power, P, from physics. Around is a ring, and that gives handspring, and a handspring... I've never done a handspring, but I imagine it is a bit of a revolutionary movement if you did it in the gymnasium. So that, but the thing that's really puzzled me there is that when I was looking at this, I was trying to think of the word cartwheel, and my brain said handstand, and the answer's handspring. So some weird thing is going on in my brain there. But look, this is great, because now we get P, I, and G. In favour of. If you're in favour of something beginning with P, you are pro it, aren't you? So this probably begins with pro. Member warning about introduction. So an introduction is a... Is this that weird word that I only know from crosswords? There is a word that's something like prolegomenon. This would be quite funny if it's that. It is that. It's got omen in it. It's got leg in it for member. It's prolegomenon. I think this is a word. And I only know this from Cryptic Crosswords. It probably comes up once every 2 years. More explosions in my right ear. So a member, this comes up a lot, by the way. A member has three possibilities in a Cryptic Crossword. It might be referring to a member of parliament, which can be an MP. Often, though, it's referring to a member as in a limb of your body, so an arm or a leg. So if you see member, it's either arm, leg, or MP, almost always. So in favour of pro, member, leg, warning, omen, about something is on it, prolegomenon. Now, prolegomenon, prolegomenon. prolegomenon in the singular. An introduction to a treatise. It's from Greek. It's nonsense. It's just a nonsense word. But at least we knew it. Unlike animadvert and paraquat. Jason, I gave you the big build-up about not using mad words. God, there's mad words all over the place here. 24. Complete part of joint activity. Okay. So, oh, yes, now, actually, Jason will be the man to know this as well. In the crossword, earlier this week, there were 2 hiddens. There definitely were. Now, but sometimes, in every Times crossword, I thought, well, there might be one of these clues. And these are the favourite clues if you're new to the puzzle, because they tell you the answer. The answer is spelt out in the clue. So you can hunt for these and definitely get an answer. But I thought there was a rule that said there could only be 1 in a puzzle, and I'm sure there were 2 earlier this week. So let's look at this clue. Complete part of joint activity. Now, when it is a hidden, the constructor has to tell you that the answer is hidden in the clue. So the way Jason's doing that here is part of. So he's saying take part of the string joint activity. And if you look inside that string, you can see spelt out INTACT, intact. And if something is intact, it is complete. So let's try this one. 26. Bloke on the radio that vents periodically. Okay. So, what does this mean? And the crucial learning point from this clue is the phrase on the radio. And this comes up all the time in some guise or another. It could say, we hear, or by the sounds of it, or one caught. And all of those things mean, oh, I've heard you say something. On the radio, you hear things on the radio. Whenever you get this, what it's referring to is a homophone, a word that sounds like another word to the ear, but is spelt differently and has a different meaning. So, can we think of any words that mean bloke? Beginning with G. Especially down the East End, you might refer to a geezer. Geezer is spelt like that, isn't it? Now, can we spell that word as it sounds differently? And I think there's a word, geyser, like that. And isn't that one of those sort of Nordic things that spouts hot air periodically, or water? A geyser. I think it is. Let's actually look at the correct meaning of Oh, it's not there. Oh, that's because I got the double E. Geyser. A spring that periodically spouts hot water and steam into the air. So that is why this is geyser. Now, actually, we should just pause. We should just pause, because it does occur to me, could this be the other way round? I.e., could this be the word geezer, Geezer, because it sounds like something that vents periodically. On the radio, that vents periodically. I don't know. I think it might be possible to be either way round. Now, so this letter is going to be crucial, I think. Y looks a good ending if it ends... Probably ends LY. Let's have a look at 14 down. Each point somebody thought fit to publicise. Bother, I was hoping I would just know this, and I don't. Each point. Okay, I have got it. And we are right. Okay, we're right with this spelling. This is it's another clever clue, actually. So each point we have to think about that in terms of the compass. And the 4 compass points, north, south, east and west, well, they can spell out news. And somebody thought fit to do something would be they would be worthy of it. And if something is... Actually, hang on, how does this work? Because it must be fit to publicise is newsworthy. Somebody thought... Yeah, it's almost like the word fit is doing double duty there, isn't it? Each point, NEWS. Somebody thought fit. No, I think it's different. I think the way it works is each point is NEWS. And somebody, if you are somebody, you're sort of a VIP, aren't you? You are a worthy. I think worthy can be a noun. For somebody who's sort of a hero. Let's have a look. Worthy noun. A person of eminent worth. Yeah, that's a notability. That's a somebody, isn't it? So somebody is worthy, and then the definition is thought fit to publicise. If something is thought fit to publicise, it is newsworthy. That's really good. Now that must be MC. That must be MC. Host. Seems clever, eliminating every other part. Well, this comes up quite often in puzzles, in cryptic clues. So this eliminating every other part, that might be expressed differently. It might say evenly or regularly seen or something like that. And what it means is take the regularly occurring letters. Now here it's very clear. It says eliminate every other part. So from the phrase seems clever, if we eliminate every odd letter, the first letter, the third, etc., we would see all we'd be left with is MC, which is a host. Now let's go. See, if I was solving normally, I know I'm mad, but I would go to 22 down now. There's something that attracts me about the short 4s that I feel I'd have, they're going to help me with the 8s. I'm going to do the same thing, 22 down. Key passage in recital. Yes. Okay, well, I can do this. Oh, and indeed, this is a bit like this one. So in recital, what's that telling you to do? If you recite something, it was something spoken out loud, isn't it? So again, we're looking for a homophone. So we need a word that means passage. That when we hear it, we can spell it differently and it's going to mean key. Now, that's tricky here because key is probably not what you think it is. Key here is being used in the sense of a landmark in the sea, an island. Now a short synonym for island is isle. And isle, if we were to spell it A-I-S-L-E, would be a passage through which you'd walk in a church, for example, to go down the aisle. So this is what we need here. Now let's try this one. The buck stops here. That's a great clue. The buck stops here. I mean, a buck is sort of a deer, isn't it? Or a stag, or... The buck stops here. That's a really good clue. If that's got a good answer, I will be very admiring of it. Right, now I don't know it, so we're going to have to go across. So, lines say, reflected poem as written. Lines say, reflected poem as written. Okay, I've got this. I do, again, this is one of these ones where my brain, something pops into my brain, and I should listen to my brain more often than I do. Because the thing that's popped into my brain is correct. And I'm just surprised. Because I don't know it as a word that means line, but I think it is. So let's read the rest of it. We're looking for an 8-letter word which means line. And if you've got this, well done. Let's look at say reflected. What might that mean? Now there is a very common short abbreviation, I suppose, for say. Say is giving an example of something. So e.g. So e.g. reflected gives GE. Short synonym for poem. Ode. As written. Sick. You might see that in a journalistic article or something. Sick meaning, it's often used to quote an error, isn't it? If somebody's misspoken but you're quoting them in the misspeak, you might put sick to indicate you know it was an error, but they didn't, presumably. So geodesic. Now that is a word I've heard of, and I guess it's some sort of, I don't know, is it a line on a, is it like an isobar or something? I don't know. Let's look it up. I'm definitely not changing it. It must be right. Geodesic. Relating to or determined by geodesy. Constructed from a grid of identical shapes. A geodesic line. The shortest line on a surface between 2 points on it. Oh, that's lovely. I've never heard of that expressed like that before. So sort of the crows, as the crow would fly, is the geodesic line. I mean, that's a much better way of describing it than as the crow flies. It's the geodesic line. Okay, so that gives us a C in this one. The buck stops here. I still can't get it. That's absolutely shocking. Right, let's try this one. We need to get this. Oh, most strict. It could be sternest. Testers finish off examination with a twist. Yes, okay. Most strict testers finish off examination with a twist. Again, it conjures up a nice image, which we ignore. Always ignore the surfaces of all these clues. They will just be there to annoy you and mislead you. But if we didn't, I mean, we're lucky here. We've got all these checking letters. Most strict is clearly, well, it's clearly a possible definition. So we might be looking for sternest. Why is it sternest? Testers, that's the word testers, finish off examination. That is saying take the finishing letter off the word examination, N. And that's testers and N go with a twist, so they are anagrammed, and we get sternest. And we're just left with this. Oh, is this scut or something? Isn't that the word for a tail of a... I thought it was the tail of a rabbit. It's quite funny. I mean, if scut is a word that is the tail, the back end of a buck, then it's a brilliancy, isn't it? Because we've all heard of the phrase "the buck stops here," but Jason's taken that phrase and he said literally the animal, the buck, stops at the end of the animal, and that's called the scut. I think it must be scut. What else could it be? Scott. No, it's scut. It's definitely scut. Let's have a look. I thought it was the end of a rabbit. It is the end of a rabbit. Oh, but is a buck a hare? Oh, or deer. There it is. Let's look up buck, actually. Maybe a buck. Don't you get a buck rabbit? Oh, yeah. Actually, it's there. Deer, hare, or rabbit. So, scut is absolutely correct. It's really clever. That's really clever. That's a brilliant puzzle. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's right. I mean, actually... I checked the ones I didn't know, like animadvert, paraquat. when we went through. So absolutely lovely puzzle that. Very, very impressive and enjoyable. And I hope you enjoyed me going through it. I will have a quick go at the quick cryptic, try and redeem myself from all of those mental lapses. Let's see. So, merit of French vase verse, merit deserve is the answer there. Mundane way to welcome home. Ooh, don't know. Let down, initially dud, is assigned to position. Let down, it's something like designated, but I can't see it. Quiet, more mature. Shoulder, that's a sort of homophony thing. Castigate, pace of progress. Rate, double definition. Tirade supports former monarch going off the rails. Former monarch. Oh, errant. Mundane, routine. Transport, Glaswegian. Scott, scooter. In middle of a maiden's song, terribly tense. Something like Amaria, I don't know. Part of papal mass this Sunday, Palm Sunday. Quality of thanks recalled. Statement of admiration. Testament. Quality. Statement of admiration. Attainment. Oh, I can't see it. Angry at outset is returning. Rather inferior furniture. I have no idea. Release Chuck free. 7 years at the coalface finally. Moan constantly. Effective at first. What? That's too much going on there. Looting small community. Needs new start. Pillage, I think. Village with a change of its opening. Reveal most of ugly dive has to be revamped. It's an anagram. Is it? I don't know, actually, I'm not sure. Tenant, perhaps, full of energy to go in again. Renter, with another E in it. We should be good at typing that. Let down. Oh. Assigned to position. Appointed, disappointed. Let's try that one. Highly praised. I've not looked at this. Lord Guile so easily at the start, out of order. Eulogize, that's a word I use sometimes. Sovereign, elect king. Business, entrepreneur, presumably. Slight guess, I didn't really read the clue. A constant trade union supporter, in fact, actuali. Describing this turn made surprisingly. Describing. It's an oh no, it's not actually. Describing this. I think it's an anagram. Don't know though. Device to remind social gathering agents coming up. Device to remind. It ends in PER. I don't know. Diplomat ignoring Oscar's resentment. Envy. Envoy. Unhappy Tory. Blue. Probably a lot of unhappy Tories today. In the middle, terribly tense. Amongst. Oh, that's not what I thought the definition was going to be. Attribute. Attribute. Oh, Simon. What an idiot. Angry. Irritable. 7 years at the coalface finally. Moan constantly. Effective at first. 7 years. I don't quite know that. Devalue, is this? Reveal. Divulge. Ah. Okay, so we're nearly there. I don't know what this one is. Describing this. Undreamt? Is it undreamt? That's a weird word. Might not be. Oh, beeper? Social gathering is a B. Okay. Okay, what on earth is this then? 7 years at the coal. Teenage? Nag. That is correct. Oh, look, I've got loads of E's again. Teenage, I think is correct there. So submit. There was one I wasn't sure about. Undreamt, I wasn't sure about. Oh, it's right. Terrible time. Absolutely terrible. Smidge under 5 minutes. Jason James, very quick. Mark, very quick. Matthew, Marcus, very quick. Everybody very quick except me, basically. Awful. Awful. An awful performance, but 2 very fine puzzles. That was by Hurley, that one. Really cool. And Jason's main crossword today was absolutely fabulous, full of stellar cluing. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my brain's discursions on the subject. If you do enjoy these videos, please do like and please do subscribe. I know it's a very trite and cliched thing for YouTubers to ask for, but in all seriousness, these videos are, according to YouTube, are worst performing videos, and yet the comments I see every week suggests that many people really enjoy them. So it sort of annoys me that YouTube doesn't promote them or like them. So anything that we can do to persuade the algorithm that actually these puzzles are worthy of wider attention, and they so are. I mean, they so are. It is such an art form. It really is. And I think that there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who, if they started to understand how to solve these, they'd get so much out of them. They are properly clever things that give so much joy. So anything you can do to help us would be appreciated, and thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.